Whenever a director wins an Oscar, one question is on everyone's mind. What will they do next? And in the case of Christopher Nolan, no matter what he would have done next, I would have been excited. Now, I don't think he needs an introduction, but Christopher Nolan is arguably the most famous filmmaker in the world, other than maybe Steven Spielberg. The guy is a legend, and unlike Steven Spielberg, I don't think he's ever truly missed. Sure, I may not be a big fan of Tenet, but that movie has got such a fascinating concept and is executed in such a unique way that I simply can't write it off as a bad movie. I may view Dunkirk as somewhat boring and ineffective in its presentation on war, but it tells its story using multiple perspectives in an admirable fashion. But every other Nolan movie I've seen ranges from great to one of my all-time favourites. You can make an argument that half the films in his filmography are his best, and I wouldn't even challenge you. So yeah, now that we are finally getting it, I was so excited for the Odyssey. And now that I've seen it, I can confirm this movie is a masterpiece. Let me explain. Hi all, I'm the Grinning Critic and I love talking about movies with a grin. And luckily today I can talk about a movie with a huge grin on my face, as I thought the Odyssey was amazing. What I loved most about this movie is that it felt like classic old school Hollywood filmmaking. This is a grand epic story that was filmed on location across multiple countries with massive set pieces, which all work to make this an extremely immersive viewing experience, all of which aided by sweeping wide shots and an intense musical score from Ludwig Göransson. By placing such a commitment to realism, this film is able to brilliantly illustrate the journey that the characters embark on. You feel the victories, you feel the hardships, and you feel the regrets. This is all interwoven into the arc of the lead, Odysseus, who was an empowering leader, elevated by Matt Damon giving easily his best performance since Good Will Hunting. Now, speaking of actors, there are so many big A-list celebrities in this film, it's crazy. Even just in minor roles, you've got Mia Goth, Zendaya, Benny Safdie, John Bernthal, and loads more, all playing roles that have barely any screen time. And they're all awesome in their roles, which just goes to show you just how much people want to be in Nolan's movies because he's that good of a director. As for the main supporting roles, well, everyone is giving their A-game. Robert Pattinson really impressed me. He's able to be this cranky but somewhat charming character. I thought Pattinson really explored the dynamic really well. Anne Hathaway is amazing, and Himesh Patel was given a lot bigger of a role than I expected from him, which was so nice to see as I consider him a very underrated actor. Now, as for the directing, well, it's a Nolan movie. This movie is directed to perfection. Nolan recently said that he wants to make a horror movie, and this film is very much his soft launch into horror. There's a couple of horrifying scenes in this movie that had me tensed up on the edge of my seat because that's how thrilling they really were. As much as I love the Odyssey, I'll admit, this is not a perfect movie. At times, particularly in the first act, the dialogue is just really hard to hear. Because this is an adaptation of such a long story, you do sometimes feel like you need a bit of extra context that just isn't given. And if I'm being super picky, I would have loved to have seen a bit more of Tom Holland's character. But even though this movie may have its minor imperfections here and there, I still absolutely loved this movie. I'm so happy for his post-Oscar movie that Christopher Nolan, when he had the chance to make any movie he wanted to make, finally gave one of the most important books to civilization its worthy big screen treatment. I'm gonna give The Odyssey an A. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm the Grinning Critic, and don't forget to subscribe to me. It'll keep me grinning, that's for sure.